As we all know, a delegation led by Her Excellency Dr. Arikana Chiombori Kwao has arrived in Burkina Faso for a symbolic return of the African diaspora. And this delegation arrived on 27 October, and they will stay there till 8 November. This is around more than 700 delegates have come with Dr. Arikana Chiombori, amongst them prominent figures like Maponga of Zimbabwe, who is a Pan-Africanist from Zimbabwe, and later on they are joined by also the former president of South Africa and current MK party's leader, Jacob Zuma. Now, I am not going to dive in, or telling you why they are there, because we have made a report about this. Dr. Arikana Chiombori she's a Pan-Africanist, and she is known for her really major actions in terms of inspiring, even including Captain Ibrahim Traore in the Sahel states, the leaders, exposing France for the first time when she was the ambassador of the African Union to the United States. She was the one, if you may say so also, who blew the first whistle on France, and that has costed her job. There was a letter that was written from that time, the chairperson of the African Union, for her to resign or to release, to resign her job. Now, she is a leading figure in terms of Pan-Africanism, and then there is the Sahel states, who later on have broken the chain with their former colonial power, with France kicking out the military from their country. Now, she did not stop there. Her action also went further, and she created this institution called the African Diaspora Development Institute, known as in its acronym ADDI. So it's ADDI now bringing delegates, the African diaspora, to Burkina Faso. This is not her first trip. This is her second trip, in fact, to Burkina Faso. When the ADDI introduced for delegates to register who wants to go to Burkina Faso and also adopt citizenship through ADDI, that was like maybe 6 months ago. She came here at Connect Africa and explained the whole situation. Maponga, also brother African, a very known Pan-African brother, Joshua Maponga, is from Zimbabwe as well. Now, this video is concerning actually Jacob Zuma. Now, Jacob Zuma, the former president of South Africa, joining these two leading figures in Pan-Africanism is going to destroy the cause of Pan-Africanism. Why? Because he is a known nationalist or tribalist. None of his actions so far are in line with Pan-Africanism. A number of things have been committed during his presidency time and even now. Now, without further ado, let me read you this article written by Brother Rutendo from Zimbabwe. Okay, this will give us a picture of what Jacob Zuma has committed. Now, Marara Maponga, we all want a united Africa, but Jacob Zuma does not represent a united Africa after voting with NATO for a no-fly zone in Libya. so that the French and Americans could kill Gaddafi. Second, Zuma went to Morocco and recognized Morocco's occupation of Sahrawi, a position at odds with Pan-Africanism. And right now, his MK party is terrorizing African immigrants in KwaZulu-Natal and asking them for passports and advocating for their deportation. These are some of the reasons Traore refused to meet Jacob Zuma, or he calls him sellout. Now, let me just elaborate on these things to you. What he's talking about, that is the reason for Gaddafi to be killed. He was a president at that time when Gaddafi was killed, meaning he was a president of South Africa, and South Africa was a member of the non-permanent Security Council, in which, Africa has 3 seats in the non-permanent United Nations Security Council, and one of them was held by South Africa. So he forced, or he chose, of course, that time he was a president, his ambassador or to the United Nations, that was also responsible for that, the UN Security Council in the United Nations, to vote for Resolution 1973. This Resolution 1973 is the one that has passed a no-fly zone in Libya. So that ultimately made Libya not to fight back. It was NATO that went, but mainly led by the United States and France, that dragged Gaddafi and killed him and turned the country almost like a failed state. Now Libya is still, there are a number of terrorist groups in the country. It has also become a hub for selling Africans in this time, in this 21st century, for selling them as a slave. So we all know what's going on in Libya, but the very cause of destroying Libya started at his time. Secondly, Jacob Zuma, what he did is that he also, it was in his presidency time, 43 miners of South Africans who was killed by military for protesting against a British mining company that was operating in South Africa. And they were just asking for a living wage, for their minimum wage to be raised so that they can pay their bills. And that was the only reason. And these 43 miners were killed, and this was under his leadership in South Africa. Number 3, there were also students who were arrested in KwaZulu-Natal under his presidency. And these students were arrested because they asked for a free education and for a statue of one colonial representation to be removed from the KwaZulu-Natal University. So that was the reason. Say number 3, right? And number 4, the removal of Julius Malema, now who has created the Economic Freedom Fighters, the EFF political party. He was kicked out of ANC during his presidency time. So the only crime, according to Jacob Zuma, for removing or kicking out Julius Malema was that because Julius Malema asked ANC to return lands to the original owners or to South Africa, Black South Africans. And that was the reason he was kicked out from there. And also the most xenophobic crimes by South Africans was committed during Jacob Zuma's presidency. Also, after he left his presidency, now he created by splitting ANC, that is weakening the African National Congress. This political party is a ruling party ever since South Africa has got its independence from apartheid. Now he split it from ANC and created the MK party that actually got 26 or something, more than 26 or 24 seats in the parliament. And he actually stole all the votes from ANC, and which at the end ANC lost its majority and has to create a coalition. And that coalition happened to be with the Jonah Heinzen. What was his name? That guy is the white man. So I forgot their party's name. Anyway, so the coalition was created well. This ANC, led by also Cyril Ramaphosa, has its own share for doing that. But the very first one was Jacob Zuma splitting ANC. If he don't take all that votes from ANC, ANC will be able to keep its majority and will not be weakened and will not go to create a coalition party. So all these things are done by Jacob Zuma. And this is why this brother Rutendo has wrote this article and saying that the very presence of Jacob Zuma will destroy the whole essence of Pan-Africanism, in which Dr. Arikana Chombori Kwao's mission by going to Burkina Faso, leading these delegates, is that because she is bringing these delegates to invest in Burkina Faso, not only just adopt citizenship, to invest in Burkina Faso, so that others, whether it's be it from the west or east, wherever, will not come and loot our natural resource. Now, let me just go and read the rest of the article. I was just elaborating on those enumerated actions of Jacob Zuma as stated in the article. So he also says, these are the things what I have talked about already. Let's never forget also that the worst xenophobia attack against Africans in South Africa began and were sustained under Jacob Zuma's presidency, because he is a tribalist. And tribalism is the epitome of Western divide and conquer. He jailed Fees Must Fall students, presided over the massacre of workers in Marikana for loaning, and chased Julius Malema from ANC for pushing for land expropriation without compensation. So part of why South Africans don't know the role played by frontline states in liberating South Africa is because senior leaders and sellouts like Zuma hide the truth about the fact South Africa independence was secured by African, like Angola, Zimbabwean, Mozambicans, Namibian, and Cuban, guns, tanks, and blood, not MK. So the article goes on to say, this is no difference to how he continues to hide the truth about who killed Chris Hani. Zuma is not a Pan-Africanist. He is an instrument of imperialism like Mbeki. Hence, the board for the British Queen when he became president of South Africa. So that is the article from Rutendo. But those facts, under his presidency, voting a yes in the United Nations Security Council for Libya to become a no-fly zone. That happened under the presidency, and the South Africa, being a member of the non-permanent Security Council, has voted for that. And also the 43 miners of the who were killed in South Africa for asking for their, minimum wage to be raised because they protested against a British mining company. That is also something that was committed under his presidency. This is why this man Rutendo is calling him his tool of imperialism. Anyway, let us know in the comment section. But this is not to belittle or any of the things or the actions that Her Excellency Dr. Arikana Chombori is doing. It's the fact that this man is saying this because Jacob Zuma is joining them. This might destroy the cause of Pan-Africanism. As actually Rutendo goes on also saying, up until now, Captain Ibrahim Traore has not met him, and this is the reason. That's what he's saying. Well, we will see. The delegates are there till 8th of November. So we will see. There are several events that have been scheduled and still going on. Anyway, let us know in the comment section, what do you think of this? We would love to hear from you. Thank you again for tuning in. Please go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that so far. Share the video with others. Also, you may support us further by through our PayPal account. You can find it in the description section. That was it for me for now, and I will see you on the next one. But before I go, I want to remind you, tomorrow on tomorrow is 4 November, right? Okay, on 4 November, actually today in according to the Eastern African time, that will be 4 p.m. We will have a deep dive on what's happening in Tanzania. Please join us and share the video with others. We will post the link so you will be notified. So you have to subscribe to the channel. Ciao.